Hi, my name is Ben Craig, also known as the Brick Builder. In this very special workshop today, we're going to show you how to make your own Lego version of a clock tower. Now, to keep it simple, we're going to use two sets in this build and a couple of other random parts. The first set we're using is this Technic Set 42102. It's a very small Technic set found in most toy stores, including the Lego certified stores in Queensland. And this set contains all the mechanism pieces that we're going to use to make our clock face work. Now, we're also going to use this Lego Classic set here. Now this is 11009 to contain a bit more of the pieces that we need to make the clock tower work, but you may find you may have a lot of these parts in your collection already. So let's get started. We've got a base here. Now we're using 3 2x6 plates here, but if you've got a 6x6, you can use that too. In that Lego Classic set I just showed you, there are these jumper plates here, 1x2 jumper plates. We're going to place these just in the middle of these. This will also hold all of our plates in, but also allow us to align our clock tower face right where we need it to be. So we're going to place these 4 just like so. Now, to start the base of our clock tower mechanism, we're going to use this Technic joiner right here. You can see this joiner piece here. Now we're going to use 2 blue 3 long Technic pins that came in the set. We're going to push these into the middle. Now this will be just like so. Now in that Classic set there was a 1x4 Technic brick with holes on the side. We're going to place that on one side. Now because there's only 1 in this set, we're also going to use these 2 1x2 Technic bricks. You can see these here. If you've got another 1x4 brick on your own collection, you can use that. Otherwise that one works just fine as well. And then underneath that, we're going to place some 1 wide bricks. Now I'm using 1x2 bricks here just because I have them at my disposal. You can use a 1x4, whatever you may have in your collection or parts accessible to you. And we're going to pop them on just like so. Now that's going to sit right about here, right in the middle of the piece that we're building just now. You can see that here. Now what this allows us to do is then place this 1x7 Lego Technic Lift arm on top, and that's going to go on just popping on like so. Now we're going to lift this off again just slightly, just so we can get underneath. We're going to use this 1x7 Technic axle. We're going to slot that quickly just through to the base of we're going to place this Technic Axel Stopper right on the end of that. And that's going to sit in just like so. So when we place this back down, we now have an axle right in the middle there, which we can use to turn our clock faces in a minute. This Technic set also came with this large black cog. We're going to place that with this Technic pin here, this tan Technic pin that came in that set. I'm going to pop that through, then place that down about the second hole either side of the end of that lift arm. So that's going to spin just there, and that's going to become our main driver for our clock tower face. This smaller Lego Technic cog, this light grey one, came in the set as well. We're going to place that down on top of that shaft, just popping on. So now that when we spin the large cog, we also have this light grey one spinning as well. So there we have it. We have our black cog that drives our main clock tower shaft right here. And that's going to spin like that. Now, surrounding that, it's time to start building our clock tower. Now, I am using some 1x2 bricks in medium nougat. This was the brick color that I used on the Lego Brisbane City Hall model. We're going to place that around the base and start building. If you have any other 1x Technic bricks, you can, 1x2s. If you do have a Lego store near you, there's a Lego store in Chermside and Robina and Dreamworld in Queensland. You often find Lego 1x2 bricks are on the wall. I believe they're in tan and white colours at the moment. We'll keep placing these around while we build our wall. Key thing with building Lego and building walls is to try and overlap bricks as often as we can. Often we find that when you stack bricks one on top of the other, they're not as strong as they would be when they overlap. And that's very similar to most other buildings around that you have masonry or stonework, like Brisbane City Hall. You'd normally find that all the bricks in those buildings are overlapped. And here we go. One key fact for most clock towers around the world is that they were built nice and tall so everyone could see the time. And that's because originally, when these large clock towers were being built, people didn't have the internet, didn't have TV, most didn't have radio. So how else would they know to set the time apart from looking at this town's clock, the city's clock, or also listening to the bells of the clock itself? So we're going to raise this a little bit higher here. Just building up our wall. Now, you can use any other type of 1 wide bricks to do this. We're just doing a 6x6 wide tower, talking about the studs here. So every Lego stud counts as 1. This is obviously 6x6. You could use a 1x6 brick, or you could use a 1x4, 1x3s. We're building quite quick here. If you wanted to tidy up some of the ends of the clock, you could use a 1 wide brick just to make this a bit tidier around the back, but we're building quite quick here. So there we go, we still have our spinning shaft. Now on top of our shaft, we're going to make it a little bit taller. And to do that, we're going to use this Technic axle joiner. We're going to place that on top, just like so. You can see it's still spinning there. This 1x4 Technic axle also came in the set. We're placing that on top. And you can see that it's still spinning the shaft like so. So let's build our clock tower up a bit further. Now, I already do have some of these tower sections pre-built because I was working on this model earlier. So I'm going to pull out some bricks that I've already pieced together. But you may use, obviously, any 1 wide bricks that you have at your disposal. So I'm going to pop this down like so, squeezing it on, and then just slightly reconfiguring it. You'll see at the back here as well, we've sort of gone a big open space. We're going to close that off now as well. Easiest way to do that is to make some brick sections in your hand and then just slot them down just on top like so to finish off the wall. And we can very carefully carry on with that side of the wall. As we get higher, this side that's floating on top of the turning cog is going to get stronger. So we'll just build this up a touch higher until it's sitting at the right height for us to then do our clock faces. A couple more bricks to go. And there we have it. So we're still spinning and having our shaft in the middle turn. Now what we can do, just to make sure that we keep all of our cogs on the shaft in place, is pop down some of these red Technic Axel Stoppers, which are also in that little Technic set that we showed you earlier. That'll just help to hold our cog in place when we get it all together. So the next cog we're going to add is this tan coloured Technic cog. Now this cog is quite special. It will allow us to turn our vertical turning motion ready for a horizontal motion with our various clock sides. These 1x2 Technic bricks with holes in the middle. There are 4 white ones that came in the Lego Classic set that we mentioned earlier. You may have some in your own collection. We're going to place these out now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, in this Technic set also came 1, 2, 3 of these black Technic cogs. Now, there's only 3 in the set. We need 4 for a clock face. So there's also another tan coloured one that is the same size, same amount of teeth, which means it will spin at the same speed as the other faces. So we're going to use that one for now. These 1x3 Technic axles that came in the set, there were 4 of them in that set as well, in that small Technic set. So we're going to use these for each clock face. So grabbing a Technic brick and placing an axle through it, we're then going to add a black cog to each one. Now, being careful not to put the axle all the way through the cog, just to give us a bit more space on the other side when we're placing our clock hands on. But we're going to place these cogs on now. 1. So we're going to push that axle down, not all the way through, just like so. Grab a 1 wide brick, pop it on. We'll do the same again, popping axle pin down, just that little touch, but not all the way through. Grabbing our white Technic brick. So we're going to use this 1x3 axle again, but placing this tan cog on top, which is a little bit narrower, and then join that on top of our cog. So now when we turn this, you'll be able to see that we are now turning the sides. It may also help, we'll take this off, just to make it the same width, to place this smaller Axel stopper, which was in that set, on top as well. And that just pops on. I'll give it as much space in the cog as we can. And that just ensures that this Technic cog is the same space as the other black ones. And now when we turn it, you can see that we are turning all 4 clock faces the same direction and the same speed. So let's build our clock towers up a little bit further. Now I have pre-prepared some 1x2 bricks just to wiggle in here, and we'll do these up 2 more bricks. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do the same on all 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And lastly again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're still turning our 4 clock faces, the same speed and the same sides. Clock faces. So we've got options here. We've got a 4x4 round plate. We've also got at our disposal a 6x6 round plate. Now these parts are in neither of these sets, however they're both on the wall at Lego stores at the Pick a Brick walls. Not in white, but you can find them in grey and lime green. You may have white ones in your collection from other sets as well. but we're going to use these ones today. I'm choosing the 4x4 plate there. Now we're going to, on top of that, place this 1x2 plate like so. And that, placing this 1x2 plate on top, there we go, will allow us to slot that clock face through the axle. That 1x2 plate will hold the clock face right and snug to the wall like so. So we're going to place on 3 more of these to make the 4 sides. 1, 2, 3. And 4. Now, because we're limiting the parts that we're using, particularly to this LEGO Technic set here, 42102, we're going to do our clock faces a bit more simpler than we would normally, and our hands. However, if you have other parts in your collection that you want to use to make your hands more detailed, by all means do that. So we're going to do a few different options as well. First up is this Technic Lift, this Technic Axel Stopper actually, on the end here. Now this, I've put a pin in the side of that. We're going to use that for one side right now. We're going to pop that on like so for one. We'll do a couple of them. And that's going to hold on just like so. This next one, we've got the same axle end here, but I'm using this Technic pin, which came in that classic set. And we're going to place that on the end of one of the faces, like so. Then lastly, just to show something different, this Technic lift arm here, which is a 3-long lift arm, came, you can see it here. This came with the little Technic set as well. We're going to place that on one side. Now these are fairly basic clock face arms. This is just to show what you can use. You may have a different array of parts, but for this set, this is what we can show. And now when we turn these hands, and we'll just make sure we've not got anything stuck. We can see here, this side here has pushed in the piece a little bit too far that it's starting to catch. So pull it out a little bit, and now we have it. We now have our one big dial turning our 4 clock hands at the same speed around our clock. You could add height to this underneath it and just make it higher. You could motorize this if you have a LEGO Power Functions or powered up motor, both of which are also available at the LEGO stores. There you have it. This is a very quick example of how to build a LEGO clock tower to celebrate Brisbane City Hall and 100 years since the start of construction.